Guys, I'm Monty Henry, owner of my own surveillance and security equipment company, and long-term investor in Bitcoin and various other cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Litecoin. What else do we have? Some BitShares and some Neo and NEM. We've got a few things in our portfolio just to basically mitigate the volatility and to help with diversification. So a lot of you newbies, if you will, and maybe even some old timers, we all take for granted, what we're investing in and why. And this particular podcast is basically going to reemphasize the why, and to make sure that we understand, what were our original intentions, and what makes the difference between people who ultimately become wealthy when it comes to investing versus people who end up just doing a whole lot of churning and spinning of the wheels. Okay, so to get right to it, Bitcoin's original mission was born out of a particular catastrophe in 2008 when the financial system was basically going through a meltdown because the banking system basically imploded, and a lot of people lost their homes and jobs as a consequence of losing their homes, and et cetera, et cetera. In other words, a lot of wealth was destroyed. At least $1 trillion just went up in smoke because of the way that the bankers and the politicians allowed that fiasco to occur. Okay, and so without getting into too much details in terms of how that happened and such, we just want to make sure we understand now we have an alternative. So this is the why of why we're in this space, why we're looking at Bitcoin, why we're looking at cryptocurrencies, why having a blockchain is important, okay? Now, what is so unique about Bitcoin? Well, one of the first things is it's decentralized, okay? We have, for the first time in history, something that looks like a currency, acts like a store of value, acts like a commodity at any given point in time. It behaves like any of these. It's a chameleon. That's why the regulators are having such a difficult time trying to define it and attempt to control it. Okay, this is the first time in history we've had anything that becomes gold 2.0, and it becomes a replacement for the dollar, and it becomes at the same time a payment system, a way by which you transfer value in a decentralized manner. In other words, we don't have to trust any banks. We don't have to rely upon intermediaries. We don't have to pay a lot of money to Visa, MasterCard, and American Express and all these guys to tell us anything about how to use this financial product. Okay, this is the Bitcoin is defined by consensus. It's defined by us. We have actual developers who take a look at fixing issues and addressing issues when there's a problem. And when there's a new idea, a new innovation that we can use to enhance blockchain or Bitcoin, then we can do that ourselves. But we have this significantly large developer community. So make sure you guys understand we have a very valuable technology for the first time in history that's providing formidable competition to fiat currencies, not only in the United States, but all around the globe. Okay? It's prompting everybody to rethink how and what money is all about, okay? money basically was never meant to be dictated to the masses in terms of who gets to have what, who gets to spend what, and how they get to spend it, and where they get to spend it, and all of that. Okay, we want to make sure we understand that basic premise. Okay, what you do with your Bitcoin, just like what I do with my Bitcoin, is up to me. It's up to the individual. Okay, we're not supposed to be able to tell $1 from the other. If it's a bad guy or a good guy with some Bitcoin, for instance, we're not supposed to try and figure out their motives and such. So for better or worse, we finally have to take responsibility. Not regulators, not law enforcement people, not politicians. We have to take responsibility. You have to take possession of your private keys. You have to control your wealth. You have to secure your wealth, for instance, in a hardware wallet like the Trezor or the Ledger Nano, for instance. Okay, so as we struggle with the idea of separating the speculators from the long-term, serious people who are committed to understanding this valuable innovation that we have, that's been released to us by Satoshi Nakamoto, then we have to literally do that. We have to understand what we have and appreciate it, and try and make sure that we have something of value, for instance, to pass along to our heirs. And whether it's your children, grandchildren, sisters, brothers, parents, grandparents, or whatever, make sure you understand this is a valuable asset that needs to be included in your will, in your trust, and these various documents that transfer wealth from one family, one generation to the next. This is how serious Bitcoin is. So make sure you guys understand when you take advantage of investing in Bitcoin and using the technology, using blockchain, using this immutable ledger that will literally document every transaction, for better or for worse, that means a whole lot. Okay, that means if the deed of trust for the house or the title or the pink slip or something to property or commodity or whatever, if it's on the blockchain, it cannot be changed. It cannot be erased. It cannot be modified. Okay, this is going to introduce a whole new can of worms to a whole lot of things, even in the medical profession. If medical records, which 50% of them have errors and misinformation in them, if that's put on the blockchain, now that means that all of your medical information, for good, bad, or worse, whether or not you have allergies, whether or not you have whatever the condition may be, if it's on a blockchain, particularly a public blockchain, it's there for keeps, okay? The same thing with your government. If they're trying to fund some black box project that's designed to overthrow a government or designed to send money here, there for terrorist activity or some stealthy technology that nobody's supposed to know about but the people in government, all these things are going to be traceable and trackable and viewable. We'll be holding people accountable. Okay, the applications, as you can tell, they go on and on and on and on. Okay, there is no limitations to what we can do with this new innovation. It's dropped into our laps, and we need to take advantage of it. A lot of you who are new to this space and a lot of old timers, just remember, if you hold on to your Bitcoin, you're holding on to real estate. And in this new area where there's going to be and is tremendous development going on right now, and it's going to be more. So if you have real estate on the blockchain by virtue of by virtue of the fact that you have Bitcoins, then you have real estate. You have skin in the game. Okay, you have voting power. You have the ability to take advantage of all of the benefits, for instance, that are yet to come. Okay, a lot of us, like myself, for instance, we know that for us this is this is something that we take very seriously. In other words, I've wasted a lot of my time dealing with crooked credit card issuers, the MasterCards and the Visas and the crooked banks, the Wells Fargos, and I did too much research on HSBC and UBS and Citibank, and after dealing with these people for over the last 20, 30 years, I can tell you they are part of the old guard. They are part of the dinosaurs that are being phased out. Okay, so you guys need to realize what that means. Okay, and there's going to be a major transition from the old guard to the new innovators. A lot of the new younger people, they're not going to go into bank branches. They're not going to deal with paper currencies and coins and such. They're not going to worry so much about asking for permission to send money here or there, having limitations imposed on them for how much money can be received or sent to whoever in this country or outside another country, all that. So there's going to be some things that the newer generations will definitely take for granted, but we'll get a chance to see that transition take place, or at least start to take place. So this is a very interesting time, and we should all be happy that we have an alternative. Okay, according to what I'm reading about shopping malls and high vacancy rates, and bonds. The bond market is being propped up, and it looks like a lot of very knowledgeable people are talking about how bonds really are being propped up, and it looks like that's going to implode, like the stock market is imploding, and it has been held up by QE to the 10th degree. Interest rates are going up. A lot of you guys are going to suffer because of the real estate loans and the credit card loans and everything else tied to interest rates. The LIBOR rate has been rigged for a long time. Your whole reality, everything that revolves around your finances has been rigged and manipulated for a long, long time, okay? So you may want to give yourself the opportunity to take advantage of what's going on in these new areas. Anyway, just a reminder, Bitcoin is not to be taken for granted. Go back and review what you're trying to accomplish and how you're going to accomplish it, and see for yourself that the regular fiat system is imploding, and make sure you understand why Bitcoin is so important in terms of it replacing all these things that are happening now and fixing a lot of the problems, okay? That's why your government is so afraid of it. That's why other countries are going to try to issue their own cryptocurrencies to try to fool people into believing in their shit coins that they're going to make a difference. It's not, okay? The country-based shit coins are going to do nothing but add for public relations to the idea that there is Bitcoin out there, and after you get through playing around with the shit coins, whether it's Venezuela, China, South Korea, or whatever, when you get through playing around with those country-based shit coins, you'll realize the true cryptocurrency, not the copy, not the imitation, is Bitcoin. Okay, that's the original. That's the big daddy. That's the mainstay. Okay, realize there's tremendous value in that one, and so anyway, we're going to wrap this up, and just want to make sure you guys understand. Stake your position, keep your position, and stay committed and stay true to your financial goals. Okay, there's too much financial illiteracy going on in the United States and elsewhere, but this is an opportunity to make up for a lot of that. I know. I made tremendous sacrifices trying to cooperate and work with the system, the existing system, and it does nothing. It has done nothing but waste my time and money. Okay, I shouldn't have had to spend the last 25 years playing around with a system that's designed systemically to rip you off, to rip us off by way of the IRS in terms of tax collections and money's going to everywhere else but what they're supposed to go to. So let's try and be a part of changing things as compared to contributing to an old system that's completely broken. You know it, and I know it. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of this cold weather. Just finished my 5-mile walk, and you guys have a great day. Thank you. Take care. Bye.